Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Venture Electronics Megatron, and these are my honest audiophile impressions. I want to thank Venture Electronics for providing the Megatron for review. Do greatly appreciate it. VE, you rock. Alright, so the Venture Electronics or VE Megatron. This will set you back $50 from the bank account. And is it a dongle, a portable DAC amp, desktop setup? What is the Megatron? That's a good question. Inside the Megatron, you are going to find a Sabre ES9018K2 DAC chip, and it supports 94 and 96 kilohertz bit rates, and it has lots of power. I mean, lots of power. Single-ended. At 32 ohms, it's 170 milliwatts. And at 300 ohms, it's 10 milliwatts. And that comes in with 2.4 volts. Balanced. It has 300 milliwatts at 32 ohms, 40 milliwatts at 300 ohms, and that's 4.9 volts. And then auxiliary, it's 0.95 volts out. THD on single-ended, it's 0.0095%. On balanced, it's 0.021%. And then on auxiliary, it's 0.01064%. DNR, single-ended, it has 105.5 decibels, and on balance, it's 104.3 decibels. You get all kinds of outputs with the Megatron. You get 3.5, 4.4, and 2.5. And then you'll also get a 3.5 line out. You have this switch here on the back side that will change it from being either headphone outs or the line out. It weighs about 156 grams, and the dimensions are 76 by 22 by 110 millimeters. So it's pretty small. Fits in the hand. It's a little bit thick, but not super heavy. Not really something that goes in a pocket though. And so it's going to be a little bit hard to carry around unless you stack it. Overall, I find that the Megatron is a well-built, nice and durable, quality design that won't take up a whole lot of space and has all that you need as far as outputs. One thing that they did include is your USB data in, but because the Megatron does not have a battery in it, it is going to rely on the battery or the power of your source. And so that means it can drain your battery of your phone or your laptop or whatever you're using. And so they have used included a pass-through charge option. So if your source has the ability to be charged at the same time as providing data, you can plug in the Megatron to a regular 5-volt charger, put it into the charge input here, and then use your data out, and it will charge your device that you're using as your source. But speaking of batteries, I really did not find that the Megatron withdrew power any more than my standard dongles that I use, like something like a periodic audio Rhodium. I found that the Megatron had the same battery life on my phone as it did other dongles. So it really wasn't an issue for me, and I did not use that option. But if it is something that is important to you and your device has that ability, it's nice that Venture Electronics included it. One other thing of note before we get into the sound capabilities of the VE Megatron, is that the Megatron has a very high output impedance. And so for some of the more sensitive gear, especially IEMs, it will cause hissing, and you'll have to be cautious of that and aware of that. And you'll either have to use an IFI IE match or just use gear that isn't quite as sensitive. Just keep that in mind, that on certain devices, the Venture Electronics Megatron will make it sound more hissy and will alter the sonics for some. I want to thank my YouTube supporters and also patrons. I do greatly appreciate everything that you have done for the channel, the sacrifices that you make by donating funds to the channel to help support it and to further the experience for others. I do greatly appreciate it. Your love and your support and your financial support do mean a ton to me, and I can't put into words how much I greatly appreciate the support that you provide to the channel and all of the just overall love and support that gives me a drive to go out and make more videos and to continue doing these honest impressions and reviews for you all, is because of the love and support I get from YouTube memberships and Patreon. So thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. If you are interested in providing support to the channel, there are many ways that you can. There are options for Patreon and also for YouTube memberships down below. So check those links out if you're interested. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, or thumbs down to the video, or a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already, check off that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll be made aware of when the next Honest Audiophile video is available. How does the Megatron sound? The Venture Electronics Megatron. This has a very clean, clear, neutral, and natural sound. I really do enjoy the VE Megatron a whole lot. It has a well-controlled, detailed bass. There's enough thump and enough texture to the bass to keep things sounding accurate and true without being overpowering and dominant. There's good authority, nice reach into the sub bass when called upon, and also it has a nice, detailed, and resolving approach to the sound, and everything just sounds accurate and true. The mids sound pleasant. They have a good naturalism to it, to the tone and timbre, and everything just sounds realistic. There is a slight roundedness to the sound, and at times things can lose just a little bit of the edges and sharpnesses that come in a natural setting, but other than that, it is a very pleasant and sounding mid. I really do enjoy the treble of the Megatron. I find that the Megatron has good extension and very nice control. It does round things off just a little bit, so sometimes those songs that have a little bit extra in the lower treble or upper mids region, where it can be a little accentuated and be a little bit on the sibilant and harsh side, it does tend to control that a little bit and round it just a little bit. But for the most part, it's just a very pleasant and pleasing sound that I really do enjoy. And I find that the Megatron does a very nice job of keeping things in check while at the same time giving you all the details and just the overall presentation that you're seeking. Soundstage wise, it is very nice on the Megatron. I find that it has a very wide soundstage, does a very good job with imaging. Things travel across the stage, and it is very pinpoint and accurate when called upon, has exceptionally good depth and layering. Overall, the Megatron is good. I do find that the only real nitpick is that it tends to round things just a little bit, and you lose just a little bit of that sharpness and edginess that you're looking for. As far as output to headphones and IEMs, I find that the Megatron does a fantastic job of powering pretty much anything that you see behind me. It is crazy how much power the Megatron has. Now, does it do it as well as the desktop setups that you see behind me with the Mytek Liberty DAC, the Aueze Deckard, the SMSL DO100, HO100, the Aune X1S GT, and things like that? Not quite. But does it do it better than the majority of dongles? When it comes to power, yes, I can run the Aueze LCD2 closed, the Hifi Min Ananda, the Hifi Min Aria Stealth, Mr. Speaker's Ether Cs, Sennheiser HD8XX, Sennheiser HD600s, Sennheiser HD660s, the Audio-Technica R70X. All of those will play on the Venture Electronics Megatron. Now, some of the higher ones like the Audio-Technica and the Sennheisers are not optimal. In fact, even the planars are not quite optimal, but you can get them to volume and they can sound good and they can be enjoyable for being on the go. Would I use the Megatron as a desktop setup for over-ear headphones? No. But for portable use at an office or while I'm traveling, it's doable. Where the Megatron really surprises me is with IEMs. It does a fantastic job of powering them. Now, as I said earlier, you do have to be a little careful as it does have some higher output impedances, so it can cause some hissing and some unique different changes of sonics at times because it is giving too much and it'll alter the sound. But for the most part, IEMs is where the Megatron really plays well, especially planar IEMs and IEMs that are somewhat a little bit harder to drive. So if you're looking for a larger, more powerful device than a standard dongle, I would get the Megatron for your IEMs. How does it compare to the Periodic Audio Rhodium? Sound-wise, the Periodic Audio Rhodium is better, in my opinion. The Periodic Audio Rhodium has slightly better, more natural and accurate soundstage as far as depth, layering, imaging, and being more precise. Also, the Periodic Audio Rhodium is more neutral, but also more natural. It does a better job with tone and timbre and being accurate in that it doesn't round things off. You do get those little sharper edges and a little bit more of the presentation of how the recording is as far as edges, sharpness, sibilance, harshness, those type of things are better portrayed with the Periodic Audio Rhodium. But the Rhodium is not near as powerful as the Megatron. So, do I recommend the Megatron? Absolutely. I think it's a great device, but it does have some quirks about it, and you have to be aware of them and know how to use the Megatron as far as what gear it would sound best on. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already checked those off, don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and then check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. All that kind of stuff is down below, along with gear rankings and tier lists and music recommendations and all kinds of other things are down below. So don't forget to check out the links. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Don't forget to enjoy the music and that honesty is the best policy.